Hi, I'm Nick Buick from the Onsite Manager, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use the 2Apply system. The 2Apply system is built right here in Brisbane by the Inspect Real Estate company, and they designed it specifically for on-site managers. We worked really closely with them in the development of it, and it's a really good solution that will hopefully eliminate a lot of the support issues that we're encountering with OneForm. In particular, as OneForm gets phased out as it reaches its end of life, we need an alternative solution, and 2Apply is it. So let's dive in and have a look. The first thing that bears mentioning is that, as with any software system, it's only as good as the information that it's provided with. And that is really true here. Your listing details have to be accurate. If the information on your listing is inaccurate or unreliable, it's going to create all manner of problems down the track. So it's really important that we have good, solid info on our listing. That starts with the address. That's one of the main bugbears that we're encountering at the moment. Improperly formatted addresses being given to listings. They're going to cause a lot of problems with 2Apply. So we have to make sure our addresses are fully correct. We do that by opening up our listing, going to our address information. There's a couple of fields here that I want to point out. One of them says display address publicly. Recommended. That really is, I can't recommend that enough. That has to be set to yes. If you set that to no, you're going to make your life an absolute misery. Please don't set it to no unless there's some major privacy reason for it. Keep it set to yes. It will allow all the systems to speak a lot more reliably to each other and ensure that the data being traveled across those systems is accurate and reconciles correctly. So please make sure that's set to yes. Show unit number to my competitors. I always recommend you set that to no. That protects the privacy of your owners and maintains the integrity of your rent roll. So that's for your protection. I recommend you set that to no. Down here, you'll see there's a field here called unit and street number. That field is for the unit and the street number. Please don't just put the street number in there. If you just put the street number in there, it's again going to glue all of your listings together into one single listing. And when you pull that listing off the market, anyone who's applied for or is inspecting any listing inside your entire complex is going to be notified that it's no longer available, and it's going to create huge headaches for you. So please make sure that you have both a unit and a street number in the unit and street number field. And you do that by putting in your unit number, for instance, 12, separated with a slash, and then the street number. If you put it in like that, you won't have any problems. Again, keep in mind that the unit number is going to be taken out of there as long as that's set to no. No one's going to know the unit number except for the Inspect Real Estate system that needs it for its integrations. So it's fine to put it in there. It's going to be protected as long as that's set to no. Once you've done that, the other section that you should pay particular attention to is your inspection times. Make sure that you've got some inspection times in there so that people can book inspections at the property. If you're going to run opens, the Inspect Real Estate system will book people into them. Alternatively, you can also use the ideal week, and I'll show you that in a moment. We then save our listing. I'm going to save this one as inactive, but normally we'd save it as active. And then we know that that listing has solid, reliable information, which is great. Once your listing's accurate, there's a bunch of places where people will be invited to apply on the listing. The first one is on the listing itself. And interestingly enough, we've removed those buttons from realestate.com and domain. And the reason we did that was we found that it was too premature in the workflow to start inviting people to lodge applications at that point. We were finding that a lot of people would just go around lodging applications willy-nilly for properties they weren't even interested in, they never actually looked at, they knew nothing about. And not only that, the manager didn't know that applicant from a bar of soap either, hadn't met them, hadn't shown them through. It just wasn't really a very reliable workflow. So those buttons are no longer on realestate.com or domain. If you do want to send someone to the listing to apply on it, you can give them the web address on the Onsite Manager, and we have a button on there. So if you look at the listing here on the Onsite Manager, you've got your book inspection there based on your inspection times, and then you've also got your apply button over here for the application. So it's on our site, it's no longer on the others. That's the first port of call where someone can apply for it. Again, we find that people only really go to our site if a manager's already sent them there, so that's why we've left it on our site. It brings up the application just like this, and then the applicant can start filling that out with their 2Apply account. You'll also note our web structure here. If you just put in to your web browser, theonsite.manager.com/ and then this property ID. That'll take you directly to that listing. So you can give that to your tenants or your applicants. It'll take them directly to this listing. As long as it's active, they'll be able to see it. What's really interesting there, if you want to just give them the address to apply for it, all you need to do is just put the word apply in between those slashes. So it's theonsite.manager.com/apply/property ID. If you put that in there like that, that'll take them directly to that property listing on the 2Apply system to apply for it. Anyone who inquires about any property on realestate.com or domain instantly receives a text message back as well as an email back containing all of your details as well as the link to apply on the property. And we also follow up a week later giving them a quick questionnaire and also asking them again if they're interested in applying, and we send them another link to apply at that point. Anyone using the tenant app on the Inspect Real Estate system also will have access to the apply system. And if you look at your brochure on your listing, we'll load one up here by clicking brochure. It generates a 2-page A4 printable brochure. And if you go to the second page of that, now down under the map there, you'll see there's a little QR code. If you're running open homes, you can hand those brochures out. Again, it has all your details on it, and it also now has a QR code which they can scan with their phone, and again takes them directly to the application specifically for this listing. So there are heaps and heaps of different data points or touch points where we're reaching those applicants and inviting them to apply on the property. We're just not doing it before they've even looked at the property and before we even know who they are. That's not really a conducive time for people to be applying for properties. It just wastes managers' time. It wastes everyone's time. So we want them to have looked at the property at least, or at least made some contact with the manager before they start lodging applications, so we know if they're legit. Once we get an application, you will receive an email from the 2Apply system. It's going to look a lot like this. So this is the email that you'll get when you receive a 2Apply application. Now, the really interesting thing to point out here is to access your 2Apply applications, you don't have a 2Apply account yourself as a manager. There's no password to remember. There's no login to remember. You simply send this link. Now, this link is valid for 7 days after the application is lodged. After that, the link dies. The application still exists in there, but you can't get into it anymore, so do grab these when you get them. If you receive another application, you'll still be able to see your previous ones in there. But that link is the key to getting into the 2Apply system. Without a username or password, that's really the only way to get in there. The reason we've done that is there's just too many managers forgetting their passwords, having to revalidate passwords, re-verify them. It was just way too much workload. So this system's a lot easier. There's nothing to remember. There's nothing to forget. You just get that link, you go in, and it asks you for your mobile number. That's the mobile number that you find on all of your advertising. Some of our managers want to use a landline there. I always recommend not to do that because landlines can't be texted, which means that you're cutting out a lot of communications from prospects as well. But some people do, they want to use a landline. If you are using a landline, obviously we can't two-factor verify that, so that's not going to work. In those cases, you just enter your email address, and that's going to be your employee email address with our agency. That's your first and last name at theonsite.manager.com.au. I do have my mobile on my listing, so I'm going to use the mobile. It's 040 76 9944. And you simply hit login. It's that simple. It'll send you a code. The code's going to turn up on my phone. And that verifies that I am the manager for that listing. Now we're in, we'll be able to see all of the applications that are sitting here for our properties, including the one that we just received. Now to keep that nice and simple, all those applications are just stored as PDFs, which you can download directly onto your computer. So you simply hit the download button, comes straight onto your computer. You can store it safely on your hard drive. You're not leaving them up sitting on the cloud for, to get deleted or lost. You've got a record of it if there ever needs to be an insurance claim. So these come down as PDF. Everything you need about that application is contained inside that single PDF. So all of the applicants' details, all of their employment information. You can see here there's an income calculation to work out if they can afford the property or not. In this case, this applicant can't. So it's saying unacceptable. There's nothing stopping you from approving the applicant. It's just giving a little warning there. The beauty of this system as well is all of the references and background checks and even their credit report are also contained in this one PDF. 2Apply does all the heavy lifting for you. It goes and gets those documents for you directly from their past landlords and from the National Tenancy Database. So you don't have to worry about it. All you need to do is look through this application and you'll be able to see all that info in there. This is a test app, so it doesn't have it, but generally you'd find that down here in your rental history, which is really good because it means you don't have to go around ringing up all these landlords and stuff. You can certainly verify that information if you need to. However, all the contact details will be there. Well, that identification as well is also stored safely inside this single PDF. Wonderful system. Once you've reviewed all the applicants and you decide who you're going to offer to lease, then you simply approve the applicant that you want to approve, and all of the rest will be declined. So I'm just going to quickly decline this one now, and that's going to make and now we can approve someone. So I'm just going to quickly approve this test applicant here. It says, do you want to approve them for this property? If it's for a different property or the unit number's been forgotten again, you can put it in at this point. Confirm. Next. And then it asks you if you want to off-list the property. So you make sure you tick that box and complete approval. And what that's going to do is it's going to send over to the on-site manager and behind the scenes some data telling it that this listing has now been leased. It's going to pull that listing down off all of the portals for you automatically, so you don't have to worry about doing that. It's going to set it to leased. It's also going to send us the leased information as well, and then we can start generating, and this is a stage 2 thing or a version 2 thing, we're going to start generating the lease agreement for you as well, so you'll have a full pre-populated lease document ready to sign, which is hopefully going to make our managers' lives much, much easier. And that's it. If you've applied, if your applicant then changes their mind or they don't want to move in anymore, you can still go back in here, make sure you select all, and you can change who you've approved. So we can then change one of these to approved, like so. If you refresh the page, it'll now show the new approved status on that listing. And that's basically it. So the main takeaways from this are, make sure that your data is reliable, because now that we've got so many different systems talking to each other, ensuring that we have reliable, solid data is going to make your life a lot easier. There's going to be a lot of unintended consequences if that data isn't reliable, because there's so many more moving parts talking to each other now. So make sure that your listings have reliable information in them, particularly the inspection times, the date available, obviously the price, and the address, particularly the unit numbers. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, you don't need any kind of passwords, verification, or logins for 2Apply. Just remember, those links only last 7 days, so make sure you process them as they come in, and that'll keep everything running smoothly for you. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Nick Buick from the Onsite Manager. Remember to like and share. Thanks for watching.